We've got Sam Hartman here for you guys whenever you guys are ready.
Hey, Sam, I'll go ahead and get us started. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. How's this camp been? I know it's been quite different. Just named a team captain. How does that feel? Just recap fall camp and your thoughts on being named a captain for your team.
Excited, honored. I think we've definitely had a really good camp. Everything is kind of flipped on its head, as usual in this COVID world. But I think we've been really focused and locked in, and it's definitely more of a challenge being named a captain in this time of just uncertainty. But I think just all across the board, offense and defense, we've just been doing a really good job. And really shout out to our coaches for putting in a lot of extra time and doing double practices and having to keep us separate sometimes on and off the field. I think it's just a testament to how much they love us and they want to win. So it's been very good.
Sam, going into the opener, I'm sure as a competitor, you really rejoiced the challenge of matching wits with a defensive coordinator like Brent Venables, let alone Clemson's defense. What's that like to prepare for?
Definitely a challenge. He's obviously a very talented coach, and they have a lot of very talented guys all across the board. But I mean, again, like you said, it's exciting. You'd love to get a shot at the #1 team in the country, and having them come here and be on prime time and whatnot is very exciting. And I think we just got to play our game and just win some one-on-ones here and there.
Sam, you guys had a scrimmage on Saturday. How do you think the team progressed in that third scrimmage of fall camp?
It went really well. I think offense came out ready to play, off the get-go, and it was more a younger guy scrimmage. We got a few reps here and there, but I think our underclassmen they're looking good. Just in this again COVID world, everybody's got to be ready to go. On a moment's notice, we're down a couple guys here and there, so. But no, we looked very good, and it's just everything getting the fine details because every play is just an inch or two away from winning and losing it. So, but we look good.
With that COVID world mentality and everything being different in fall camp, have you seen that progression? Did you see some things on Saturday or proceeding that you're happy with, and you think you guys are moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I think I know for the offense, just younger receivers and O-line have really stepped up. Like guys that normally would be either getting redshirted or would be like a 2 or 3 are having to take one reps and play like they're ones and prepare like they're ones. And I think a lot of guys have stepped up and took that challenge upon themselves to be a guy that we can count on when it comes time.
Sam, what do you remember about the start against Clemson in that game 2 years ago?
I mean, it was, it's a great football team we played. And I mean, I think we just, you look across the board, we just came out slow and, missed throws here and there, but definitely just not very prepared. I didn't really, obviously the grasp of the offense wasn't completely there yet, just going through the season, but definitely I feel more prepared and just more capable size-wise and to kind of take on the challenge this year.
Yeah, that's where I was going. You probably knew where I was going with that. The difference in your body, I mean, we've heard 172, 178 was your playing weight then, and now Clausen said you were up to around 220 the other day. I don't know if you've gotten that quite that much. But.
Well, 215 right now, but close to it. If I would stay for a little longer, I might have been about 220 with my mom's cooking.
Just was it obvious to you that you had to make this change to be able to take a hit from a guy that's going to be on Clemson's defense and keep going?
Yeah, I think it's anybody we play, especially at the Power 5 level, you're gonna have to have some size on you, and I think it was just a durability, and there's got to be some plays where I have to extend it, and you see any of the successful QBs against Clemson just have made plays after the pocket breaks down, and I think that's going to be a huge part of this game, and I just got to have the size and the strength to get away from an arm tackle and try and make a throw or run for a couple yards here and there.
Sam,
How's
I'm just
your-
curious. Go ahead.
How's your chemistry gelling with your new skill guys as we're less than 2 weeks away now?
It's good. Something like Donnie I've been throwing with for a while, and you got Quarry who's been here for since I've been here, and AT's coming along good, and you got our 2 tight ends, Blake and Chaff. Blake was my freshman year roommate, and so I wouldn't say very new guys. Like I've been throwing to them. Most of the guys have been there at least 2 years, and if not 3, the whole time I've been here. So I mean, it's the same old for us. We've just trying to get just little things here and there, feeling different defenses is kind of what we have left to solve out. But I mean, I think right now we're looking good, and I feel comfortable and confident with all our guys out there.
Sam, out of all the things that you missed between spring ball, the summer sessions with receivers, summer classes, which do you think will affect you the most, and which did you just miss the most that you wish you could have done?
I think it really just the whole missing the spring game, missing those spring practices was huge. I think it's really not even just football wise. It's just kind of being around everybody, and you got your new mid years that you have in the spring game, and then you have the 20 whatever plus guys that come in that first couple weeks of the summer where you're kind of all to your all. Every day, the ins and outs of just hanging out, being around each other was probably the biggest miss and the biggest, kind of deficit to our team. But I think in these past couple of weeks with just the way we've handled everything and being able to stay socially distant, stay COVID safe, but still, be able to make contact with each other and kind of learn, how to lead these guys has been pretty critical in these last 2 weeks.
Got time for a couple more here. Just have a couple guys that have to make an 11 o'clock class.
Hey, Sam, I'm just curious in how you've personally approached the whole COVID thing. I know your dad's a doctor. Coach Clausen's obviously taken this very serious. And then you add in the fact of your health struggle, your deal when you was in high school. Is this something you've taken pretty serious, knowing that you're not invincible?
Yeah, I think it's more about the people around me. And just knowing that, some guys on our team, you don't know, they might have some underlying disease or some underlying condition. And I think it's just, I want to play football, and I realized very, very quickly and very early in this thing that the only way we're going to do that is to wear a mask and to, be socially distanced and, not get into high risk COVID areas, like going out or doing anything. So I think it was really for me, the safety of the people around me, my coaches, trainers, anyone I interact with, and then really just the players and myself that, I could, and one guy on our team could end the season just like that. So I think it's just, and I think we've done a really good job all across the board of guys being totally bought into the fact that, it's this year, it's not, you can go out and, if you party, whatever, that affects you, it doesn't affect me. No, if you party and go out and get COVID and bring it back to the locker room, you could end our season. So that's been a pretty strong message, and I think we've done a great job executing it as of now.
Sam, what was it about Nick Skiba that allowed you to forge such a friendship with him, quarterback and kicker?
So we're roommates, or we live together right now, and he came in a mid-year. And he's just a really good kid, and we kind of, when we came in as mid-years, that group of guys. So it was Blake, Michael Juergens, Nick Skiba, Zion Keith, and Nasir Greer. Yeah. Those guys, you kind of come in, you got to go through the workouts, you got to go through those almost freshman orientation lifts that are, just kind of just not very fun. You're waking up early. It's kind of the first introduction to Wake Forest football, and I think that kind of builds a bond that's pretty unbreakable, and Skiba was a part of that. So we just throughout there maintained a great relationship, and we're kind of from the same areas in the walks of life, so we have some similar interests like going fishing and stuff. But he's just a great kid, and he's got a great family, and he's a fun kid to hang out with, and obviously he's a really good kicker. So
his younger brother is kind of an inspiration, I think, and I think he wants you want him to be you want to be his favorite player, I understand, and not his brother. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. We have a little competition, so I've been trying to bribe him with gifts like a jersey or something, some gloves, a towel, trying to win him over. I think I have him right now, but you never know. Skiba might come out and break another record. I might have to do something on a football field to get him to really be the number one. But no, Braden's a great kid, and he's a hero to me, and he's an inspiration to everybody in any walk of life. And the battles that he goes through on a daily basis it's incredible that he's just keeps fighting, and always good to see Braden.
Got time for one more.
And with all the new weapons on the offensive side of the field, what should Wake Forest fans look forward to in terms of production this coming season? The last 3 years have been the most 3 prolific years in Wake Forest football offensive history. How do you kind of follow up and continue that train?
I just think across the board on our skill positions, you start at running back, you got basically, Kenny Walker, just a really explosive guy. Like you guys, noticed in his kind of freshman debut, he took 196, and then Christian Beal obviously is just a workhorse, and he's gonna carry the ball a lot, and we're gonna have to rely on him just being a veteran guy in that room. And then another guy in the running back room is coming on great, Quentin Cooley, a guy who's not probably the biggest name guy and not the biggest guy in the room either, but he'll hit you in pass pro, and he carried the ball really well. And then across the board, the skill guys that I mentioned you got Donovan Green, probably I'd arguably say one of the best receivers in the ACC, if not the country. And I think he can come out and make some huge plays, and especially he still has basically 4 or 5, I think 5 years left of college football, which is incredible. He's very mature in his ways, and everybody else I've mentioned is just unbelievable talents. And it's just young. We're younger than normal, I would say, at receiver compared to the last 5 years. But I think that's the exciting part is a lot of these guys haven't fully developed yet and have a ceiling that's very high.
Thanks, Sam. We'll have Donovan Green here next, and we'll open it up for questions whenever he's ready.
Donovan, are you ready? You got to take yourself off mute.
You can hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
All right, I'm good. Yeah.
Cool. I guess your role kind of changed a couple weeks ago. What adjustment, if any, did you have to make with Sage's announcement that he was going to opt out?
Well, it was really like a shock to the receiver room because he stayed for the beginning of camp, and so we thought he was going to play this year because he had another one eligible, but he made the decision he did, and we respect it. But as him leaving, I realized I needed to mature more and step up and kind of be a leader in the receiver room as a young guy.
That's a lot of responsibility to put on yourself for somebody who's, not saying that you don't have experience playing, but you played 4 games last year.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah. Just I mean, what have you been doing to kind of ramp up the maturity or maturation process?
So last year during the 4 games, the receivers went down, so I had to focus. I had to, lock in, do everything to the best of my ability. And throughout this, like, I did that, but when Sage left, I realized, like, I had to step it up another notch just so, like, the receiver room would know, like, yeah, we had one of our best receivers, an All-American. He left, but, show the receivers that we still, we're still going to be as good as we can be without him here.
And then last year, you got thrown into the fire with that first game against Clemson. I know we talked in the spring about how you felt like you might have been ready, and then you got out there, and that might not have been the case. How much different are you as a receiver now that you're going to play your 5th college game, and 2 of the 5 are going to have been against Clemson?
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely more mentally prepared for this battle against them than the first one because it was the first game, my first game since high school, and it was going straight into the #1 team in college football. So mentally, I feel like I'm better prepared and ready for this go around.
Donovan, you mentioned stepping up when Sage made that announcement. Have you stepped up vocally, or what ways have you stepped up?
So like my work ethic wise throughout practice. So like, you'll have everybody will have a bad practice, but you can't let that get to you. So like when somebody's down or something like that, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the loudest guy on the field, but I'll come to somebody and tap them on the hip. I'll say, let's go. Like, we still need to do this, even though we're down in the room right now. We still need to step up and be who we can be.
In that receiving room, you have guys that have experience, so what has been the mindset of the total receivers room, moving forward and just kind of getting up to speed?
So honestly, it's been a wild experience because, as we come in, we learn from the older guys. And, when I got here, I had a lot of greats in front of me, like Kendall Hinton, Scotty Washington, Sage. So, we all learned off of them. But since now, like, we do have older guys, but we have guys who, are at the same level of experience in the room. So now we're kind of just learning off of each other and, working together as one.
Do you think about the fact that all of a sudden you're going to be getting a lot more attention from opposing teams as they get ready for Wake Forest and the big offense you've got?
I mean, I don't really think about it. I mean, yeah, like, more teams to target me because they'll, see me as the top receiver on the field, but it's not something that I'm going to let bother me. I'm just going to, play my game, and the 2 receivers on the other side of the field, going to play their game.
Got time for about 2 more.
Donovan, walk me through the scrimmage Saturday. None of us were able to be there. Who in your room is kind of showing out more in the last week or so? Who made big plays Saturday in the wide receivers group?
So, the scrimmage, it was, in the camp scrimmage, and they kept a lot of the older guys, more experienced guys out. So they let the young guys get a lot of work. And the 3 receivers that I thought would be good is Taylor Moran he had a good camp, and I feel like he'll have a great year this year. And a young guy just came in, Jamal Banks, little outside receiver. I feel like he had a good camp. He just, has to get more, mature and get the offense down more and realize, his style of play. And then our transfer from Stanford, Donald Stewart, he'll be a good tribute to the team too.
Last year in camp, we saw Sam Bassi and Sage Surratt lock up against each other repeatedly in camp. And it even got a little feisty at times. So who's been locking up with you in camp, Donovan Green? Who's been giving you fits on the defensive end?
I have to say Joshua Taylor. Last year, he didn't really get that much fame for what he did because he's saying was still here, so he was kind of under the starters and stuff like that. But he played a lot, and he was a good player last year. But he's honestly stepped up throughout this camp, and he's becoming a great corner. And he's kind of the one that I've been battling with throughout, and he's giving me a lot of good looks and great work.
Thanks, Donovan. We got Jasir Taylor here for you guys, and whenever he's situated, we'll get going.
You show that you're the veteran here, just here, because Donovan didn't know to turn off the mute button. So you come in and do that first thing.
Yeah, I'm getting some help back here.
Okay. Well, I take it you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your feeling like going? I guess we're about a week and a half, 10 days from Clemson at this point. Did you think we'd get here, 2 or 3 months ago?
No, honestly, I didn't even think we would make it this far, to be honest, the way things were trending and then what other conferences were doing. I honestly thought we wouldn't have a season, but now that it's here, my mindset and mode kind of switched, and it's time to prepare for a game.
Was there a specific time that your mindset switched? Like, was there one practice where you guys started doing prep for Clemson that it was like, okay, this is for real?
I mean, for me, since the start of camp, we were in football. We couldn't think about whether we were playing or not because that would hold us back. So once we stepped on the field and had practice, my mindset was preparing for a game. So since camp started.
What did it mean to you to be named a captain yesterday?
It was an honor. I was really shocked. I came a long way. I've been here for 4 years. When I first got here, you couldn't get a word out of me. It's still kind of like that, but it's different now. When I'm on the field, I have to lead by example and also speak up. And I'm not the loud type, so I found my role in being a leader by just pulling guys to the side, helping them out, and just being an on-field coach.
Is that kind of the same type of leadership that Asang had last year? Asang didn't ever strike me as a guy who's going to be yelling and in a bunch of people's faces at once, right?
Yeah, that's the same way he was. There was times where needed, he would tell a guy, like, to tighten up and do what you got to do to make sure we win this game, but he wasn't really the loud type.
Have you found
Thanks
yourself
for your
being
time.
more
Thanks for your time.
vocal?
Go ahead, Eddie, my friend.
Sear, have you found yourself being more vocal now, even though you said, you're not the vocal type, but you're so young in the cornerback room? Have you had to be more vocal with those guys?
Yeah, definitely. Being the only one with experience, like I can't hide in the back anymore and be quiet, especially with guys who don't know how the game flows and how things are going to move fast. So I have to instill that sense of urgency with them when we're in practice to not go through the motions and that we're about to play a game in less than a week. And that is going to be way different than it is now. Coaches aren't going to be on the field telling you where to line up. It's just getting them to understand that.
How's that progressed, these last couple of weeks? Have they really kind of, listened to what you're saying, and have you seen that growth in them?
Yeah, I definitely seen that growth, especially in the scrimmage. A lot of guys showed up
During practice, it's kind of hard to see because the coaches are back helping them. But during the scrimmage, where we're in live situations, a lot of guys started to show up. Tyreek Hardeman, Isaiah Sissoma, and Peyton Willard. They're in that battle for that next corner spot, and they're neck and neck with each other, all three of them.
Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. What do you miss, if anything, about Hussein and Amari not being around? Do you miss those guys at all?
Yeah, I definitely missed them. Just getting that knowledge from them. Looking back, I really soaked in everything that they had, and it's finally paying off now that I'm in the spotlight of being a captain and being a leader in the cornerback room. I feel like they prepared me for this time, and when I didn't even know it, just following their lead and doing things just like this will put me in the best position.
How does it feel for you, 10 days away, like Connor said, from the season starting, just named a team captain, you know where you're at in terms of the depth chart, you know you're going to be the first cornerback on the field. You've got a lot on you. How does that kind of feel?
Honestly, it hasn't hit me yet. I mean, it feels like the same as when I wasn't the captain or just another guy on the team. I'm just excited to play, and I just want to transition that energy that I have for this game coming up to all the younger guys who doesn't understand what's at stake. I mean, we're playing on national TV, one of the best teams in the country, and as an opener, like, this is when you want to play Clemson, and this is the best time to beat them.
Got time for two more.
But it sure is all roses now. Captain, national TV, everything else. Were there times in the last few years where you said, this just isn't worth it? I'm killing myself. I'm getting nothing. Why?
No, I wouldn't say that, but there has been some days after games where I had a tough game where I'm just down in the dumps. But the guys around me never get like that. There was never a time where I thought, like, this was too much and it's not paying off. But my guys around me always made sure I kept it level-headed, and I was fine with that.
Which guys?
The older guys on the team in the past, Hussein, Amari, Cam Glenn, even going that far back.
All the way that far back, huh?
Yeah.
Got time for one more? You guys good? All right. Thanks, Jasir.
Thanks, Jasir.
Thank you.
And then we have Sulaiman Kamara that's getting ready right now. And whenever he sits down, we'll start with questions.
Hello, guys.
Whenever you guys are ready.
Thanks, Sulaiman. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
How's fall camp been for the defensive line, and are you guys ready for the challenge of lining up against Clemson a week from Saturday?
Fall camp for the defensive line this year it's been competition. It's just like right now, especially. I mean, we already know that Boogie is going to be the star on the outside, but the inside is just so much competition, so much talent in there. It's like right now it's hard to just say, okay, these guys are the starters on the inside. It's like we have to rotate because the guys on the inside are just so good, And I mean, and that's brought out a lot of competition out of everybody, and everybody's pushing each other to get better, And definitely we're up for this challenge that's coming up. We know Clemson, #1 team, and that's not something that we sit around and just think about all the time, but we respect it. Definitely got to respect it, But we're going in there to to prove that our D line is better than their O line. You know, we know that their O line is filled with a bunch of much younger guys, but they have experience. So we definitely can't disrespect that. They have experience. They have game experience. So we just gonna have to just bring our talent and our hard work and drive to the table.
Coach Cohen tried to tell us last week that he's been yelling less than usual. Is that true or false, Sulaiman?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Especially, I'll say it's true with the older guys. You know, we still have the younger freshmen who still haven't truly grasped everything yet. So, yeah, he's yelling less at the older guys, a little more at the younger guys, but that's expected. Yeah. So.
So what you're saying is it's the same volume but different targets?
Yeah, same volume but different targets. But even though they're still freshmen, it's not as often. You know, I could say for my freshman year, there's a big difference. But he still yells, but it's not as often as it used to be.
How does it feel knowing that your your line is one of the real strengths of the team and has a chance to set the tone, and that's what everybody's looking for? How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's just a challenge that we accept every year. I mean, there's been every year since I've been here, I felt like the D-line has been the heart and soul of the defense. You know, when we go, the whole defense moves. You know, we accept the challenge, and we know that it's all start with us first. You know, we got to set the new line of scrimmage. We have to have the pass rush. It just makes everybody else's job in the back end a lot easier. You know, and we're all united when we're all doing our job. You know, and as a D line, we accept the challenge. We know that we have to outbeat any O line that we face because, like I said, it all starts with us.
How about maybe setting the tone for the game, though, too, with your offense being a little bit younger at the skill positions?
With our offense being younger, I have so much faith with our offense. So many guys have stepped up this camp. Like so many guys, the O-line had an amazing scrimmage this past Saturday. You know, Kenneth Walker, even the young kid Justice, he stepped up. I seen him make a lot of plays. You know, and Sam is out there, even though he didn't have that many reps this weekend, but he's still out there leading. Even Kearns is out there being a leader. And he's been vocal, and he's like, I like the unity that they have. They know that everybody sees that our O-line was one of the biggest losses that we had last year, but when they're not letting that affect them. They're coming out every day. They're getting better every day. They're pushing each other, and they're making us better in the process, you know, and I love that. They're not listening to the hype. They're not listening to the noise. They're doing their job, and they're getting better every day.
With an experienced D-line that you guys have, are you trying to really challenge and push those guys on the O-line to get them better?
Oh, that's every day. Like I said, and they challenge us. You know, I mean, some of the guys on the O-line may not play as many games as some of the guys on D-line have, but they do have some type of experience in the game. You know, so like to Lenny, Sean again, Zach, you know, they push us as much as we push them, you know. We're going to push them to their limits. They're going to push us to their limits. It's never a dull moment in practice. I'm going to say that. We're always colliding, you know. Some days it gets a little chirpy out there, but, I mean, that's what the competition's for, right? You know, we push each other to get better because they know that we're not just going to be one of the best D-lines that they're going to see. We play some really good teams this year, and they're going to have to get ready. And we know they're not going to be one of the best O-lines we're going to see this year. And so they push us to get ready for all the other O-lines we got to play.
You mentioned the O-line, how well the offense looked at in the scrimmage on Saturday. What did you think about your defense, especially the young secondary, young DBs?
I feel like there's a lot of work to be done. You know, that's why we have camp. We gotta grow, you know, especially for the 8 guys who came back there on the defense. We need to step up more and be better leaders on the defense. You know, this should be the year where the defense is really dominant. because we have so much more experience at each level. I mean, the young guys, I feel like they played hard, but I didn't feel like we as a whole unit played our best game on Saturday. I believe the offense came out and it was hot, and they outworked us, and we did not. After that, we felt bad about that. I mean, we didn't really come out there like we supposed to. So I mean, as a unit, as a whole, we need to, as a whole defense, we got a lot to work on. And I'm glad that we're seeing these mistakes now and not during the season so we can fix them.
Sully, what change have you seen in Hartman in the 2.5, almost 3 years that he's been on campus? You've been there the whole time, and I know you haven't been going up against him in individuals or anything like that, but just across the ball, what changes have you seen in him?
I'm sorry, can you say in who? I couldn't hear it.
Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman. Sam's always been the type of guy who wants to lead. And you can tell, even from his freshman year, even when he had the starting position, he knew that he would have to come in. He can't just come in and just play and not be a leader, and he's matured a lot over the years. He's understanding the game a lot better. Definitely, especially when we go through all the different situations, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, he's understanding a lot better. I feel like he's always been a leader, and he's continued to grow up to become a better leader. And by the time his time is done here, I feel like he's going to be a very excellent leader and a very excellent ball player.
Anything else for Sulaiman?
I got one more. Sulaiman, with everything that's going on out in the world right now, the social justice issues and everything, there's a lot of pro athletes who use their voice to kind of, try to affect change. Have you noticed that? And what do you think about that movement where pro athletes are really out there trying to affect some change?
I mean, we got the platform for it. If anybody's going to make any noise to really get out to the people, we're the people to do it. We have the platform for it. And I'm with it every step of the way. If it comes down to us having to boycott games or us just ending the season early just to have social justice in this country, I'm with it, But, I mean, one thing I know is sports bring people together. If we can just look at life like that a little more as sporting events and just learn to be at peace with one another, the world would be a little better place. And many of these players out here, they're in the NBA, LeBron, all of them, who are really using their voice to really speak up about things like that, that's great, because we're more than just athletes. We're humans too. We have feelings too. We're allowed to speak our mind. So them using their platform like they're supposed to, it's amazing, because I know there's a couple people who out there who just, they worry about what everybody else has to say if they do certain things. And the guys who are not worried about that, who are really standing up for the right thing and doing the right thing, that's big. That's really big to me. And I appreciate all those guys who are standing up for the social injustice that's in this country.
Thanks, Sulaiman.
Yep.
Are you taking questions now, Bob?
And that's Sulaiman was the last one for today. So if you guys are good, we'll get this over to you if you need the recording.
Thanks, Andrew.